We out here in Virginia in an undisclosed location. Out here on Delvin Moore,
How everybody doing?
not too far away from your hometown, Hampton. How was it growing up in Hampton?
Growing up in Hampton was cool. I mean, I could say it was a little rough, you know.
Yeah.
Um, it wasn't the hood, but we made it the hood. So, it was cool. I had both of my mom, my dad, in my life, my entire life. I'm the youngest of three siblings. So, from time to time they gave me problems or whatever, but it was cool, at first, I guess.
Yeah. How was it growing up with both parents in your life?
To be quite honest with you, I I'm blessed to have had grown up with both of my parents. Um, I probably wouldn't be here now if I wouldn't have grown up with both of my parents. Um, because it was hard, and I know a lot of friends that I grew up with, they only had one parent.
Yeah.
And our household was not the best household to grow up in.
Yeah.
But again, I had both of my parents to show me right from wrong. So I'm thankful for that. It could have been worse. I could have just had one parent like a lot of my friends did, and I could have been in worse trouble than I did get in.
That's that. And I remember you told me your first job was at Burger King.
Man, listen, I hated Burger King. Like, I hated my first job. I mean, it was my first job. I got it when I was 16. My mom actually helped me get that. And I just hated coming home smelling like grease every night because I worked on the Whopper board, making Whoppers and burgers and stuff.
Yeah.
Never worked on the register, and I always wanted to work on the register, but
Yeah.
it was my first job. A job was a job, back then, and I think minimum wage back then was like five $5.75. Could you imagine working for $5.75
I
nowadays?
ain't doing it. It's
It,
impossible.
it's definitely impossible. Definitely impossible. So, it was the first job, but after I got away from Burger King, I vowed to never ever to work another fast food job ever in my life. And I don't think I ever worked one since then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said you grew up the youngest of three siblings. So after both of your brothers graduated and left, what stuff did you start getting into?
Well, before my brother, which is your dad, the middle son, Kel, before he graduated, I had already started dibbling and dabbling. Jarvis was gone. My oldest brother, he was gone. By the time I started selling drugs. And mainly because I got tired of wearing hand-me-downs, man. Like, it was hand-me-down after hand-me-down, and I was the youngest, so I always catch the butt of everything. We all wore hand-me-downs, but I got the worst of it. So it was like when school came around, everybody getting new clothes and stuff. I got a few new things, but most of it was hand-me-downs, and I ain't want no more hand-me-downs, man. And the crazy part about it is when I started selling drugs, I knew I couldn't spend the money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because how I'm gonna tell my mom and dad where I got the money from.
Yeah.
So I was just saving the money, and yeah, that's what I got into. And then my brother left. When Kel left the house, my middle brother, I was the only child in the house then, and I think I was in the 11th grade when he left. I was going to the 11th grade when he went in the military. Yeah. And by this time, shoot, before he left, I had already got into trouble. I caught my first felony in the 9th grade, selling drugs. And so, when he left, it ain't changed. I mean, I just switched up the drug I was selling or whatever. At first it was crack, and then once I got caught, I started selling weed, and I was like, you can't go to jail for, get a whole lot of time. Yeah, you can't get a whole lot of time for selling weed. So I started selling weed. And I was selling weed all through high school. I became the weed man, a very known weed man around the city or whatever.
Up top.
Yeah.
So what was your would you say plan, like master plan? You said you were stacking and saving all that up. What was your plan? Did you plan to like make it big, get it out the city, or
You
you
know, to
just
be quite honest with you, Jordan, my plan was to sell weed forever. I thought I was gonna be. I thought I was gonna be. I thought I was gonna be the biggest weed man around. I was gonna get the plug,
yeah,
and I just it was just a forever of illegal life that I planned on living. I didn't have a plan.
yeah,
You know, at the time I was young. I ain't had no plan. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know what I was gonna do. I just know I wanted to sell weed, and it was fun. And I liked all of the glitter and glamour that everybody loved me. Um, when I walk into the bar, it was like Cheers. I don't know if you ever heard of that show called Cheers, but it's a show. It's an old show. And everybody, when you walk in the bar, everybody know your name, and they like, yo, Dale, da 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 da, this, that, and the third. We we buying drink after drink at the bar. We buying drinks for everybody at the bar. We just all, huh?
rich.
Yeah, basically, but we was broke.
Yeah,
You know, we was hood rich, but you know, we ain't know nothing back then.
yeah. So, so while you into all of that, what would you say was your first like reality check? Like I know you got everything smooth now. We're gonna get into that later, but what would you say was your first reality check in life to make you be like, this might not be it? From
It took me a while, man, you know, to get to where I am now mentally. And I've been on the mental path that I'm on now for almost 10 years of me being, you know, sober on alcohol. February 24th will make 10 years. But so my birthday was the other day. I just turned 44. I didn't get it in my head, like really mentally. The reality check ain't come till I was 34.
yeah,
You know, it didn't come till I was 34 and facing time in jail for the final time.
yeah,
And it didn't come until then. You know, before then, my mom passed when I was 23. When I was 23, my mom passed. And she passed from drinking and driving. You know, I don't mind talking about it. You know, I like to share my story
yeah,
or whatever. But she passed from drinking and driving. She got in a car accident, broke her neck, and she died on site, you know. And she flipped the car, she died herself. I was locked up when my mom passed. And that was the first person close to me that I ever seen. You know, that was the first person in my family that I've ever seen that was, you know, close that passed.
yeah,
And I was locked up and it affected me. Um, it affected me, but it didn't really touch me until I came home, till I got out
yeah,
or whatever. So when I get out, it was just like the world was different, you know, after that. And but at the same time, I think that was part of my coping mechanism because I didn't stop drinking. My mom died drinking and driving, so you would think I would stop drinking.
yeah,
I did, you know. I ain't stopped drinking until 34.
yeah.
So yeah, that was tough for me, but you know.
So what was that last moment or that last run in with the police that made you be like, I'm done. Y'all ain't gotta worry about me no more.
2014, I think it was. Well, it might have been 2013. Yeah, I think it was 2013. I was out, you know, I was still doing my thing or whatever, and I was doing my thing, and I was out, and I went to go drop off some weed. It was a half a pound.
Yeah,
Went to go drop off some weed to somebody. They called me. So it was like my last run for the day before I go to the bar, you know, hang out that night or whatever. Police get behind me. You know, at this time, bro, I ain't had no driver's license in 17 years.
dang,
Well, no, it hadn't been 17 years at the time. It'd been a while, though,
yeah,
you know. It had been a while. It probably was maybe about 10,
yeah,
probably about 7 years at that time.
yeah,
So, nah, it was longer than that. But anyway, So when they get behind me, like I wear the driving charge because it's a misdemeanor. I ain't wearing no drug charges, and I had drugs in the car, you know. So I mashed the gas on them, you know. I took off, and I always this was my second time in life doing this, right? So I always feel like I'm gonna get to a comfortable spot and I'm gonna jump out
right.
and I'm gonna do the dash on them, right? Right. So I get to a comfortable spot and I had it in the chip bag, you know. So I'm gonna get to a comfortable spot and I'm gonna do the dash on them, right? So I get to that comfortable spot, boom, get out the car, grab my bag, get to running, beat feet,
Boom.
come to a fence, try to jump the fence, and I stumble. Boom! Everything fell on the ground, whatever. So anyway, they locked me up, charged me with possession with intent. You know, they found money, 2 phones, weed, whatever. So I get locked up that time. Right, I hire a lawyer and everything, and I was on probation for the same thing from some years ago. So I hire a lawyer, and I think I got out on bond. I did. I got out on bond, and my arrogance at the time was like I had a friend who was a childhood friend, and he wanted me to change my life. So he said, "Man, I know this program, man. This program at the food bank. I know you like to cook or whatever." And he was like, "Man, I want to see if you know, get involved in that, man, change your life or whatever." He said, "I think it'll change your life." So me at the time, I'm always thinking, I've been back and forth to jail here and there, you know, 6 months here, 6 months there, a year here, a year and a half there. You know what I'm saying? Just keep going back and forth, not doing no major time, but just continuously going back and forth through this revolving door. So each time that I go, I'm always trying to figure out a new way to do the wrong thing.
Trying to come up with new ways.
Yeah, insanity. That's what it's called. It's
Doing
called
the same
insanity.
thing over and over, expecting a different result.
No, no. So this time, I said, "Yo," I said, "I can use the food bank. I can take it to court with me. You know that I did this 12-week program at the food bank, and I'm changing my life. I can get them to come to court for me and all this, right?" So I went to the food bank. Little behold, man, I did not know that later on this was gonna be like the change of my life, right? So I went to the food bank. I was and when I went to court, I still got some time. I'm thinking with my arrogance that I'm not gonna get no time at all. I'm pissed. I'm super pissed. And I was with a girl at the time too, and I was engaged. So she told me she was gonna ride with me through this case, but she won't doing it no more. And it was my first time ever being engaged, and I felt like I was in love. And I wanted to be with her. And I know that she won't go, you know, go for it or whatever. So when I went to court, they still gave me the time or whatever. I got 18 months this last time. I was super heated because I'm like, it's weed. Like, are you serious? It wasn't legal at that time. This was 2014 when I finally finished recording
And
stuff.
now the government selling. Like, come on, man, that's crazy.
So at that time, when I went in, I was like, yo, I was mad, but it was cool because I could have got more time than I did. And then she kept telling me to get into these programs because she knew I was an alcoholic. She hated it. You know, she was like, get into these programs, right? So I got into a program in jail, and it was the drug program, right? And I ended up becoming the elder of the program, right? So I ran the program, right? And I started out like working the program, thinking that, you know, it was gonna cut off a little bit of time or something or whatever, and that's what I started out with. But once I started working the program, it really started working for me, right? So I get to thinking. I sat down and I analyzed my entire life. It's the last time that I ever been to jail. I sat down and I analyzed my entire life, and I said, what was the root of every problem that I had in my life? What was there? at every problem that I had in my life, and I sat down and analyzed, and it was alcohol. Alcohol was the root of every evil that I had in my life, whether it be women, work, money, whatever, trouble. It was the root of everything. So I said, if I cut this out, and I always wanted to stop drinking, I just felt like this. One of the stupidest reasons is I didn't know who I was gonna hang out with. As far as friend wise, whatever.
You don't want to leave your man partner.
Yeah, they was drinking buddies. You know what I'm saying? So we party hard and stuff, and didn't know who I was gonna hang out with. That was the stupidest shit ever. Excuse my language, but that was just the stupidest stuff ever, man. And so I decided that I was gonna stop drinking. Now I had tried before, but I don't think I tried hard enough.
Yeah.
So when I get out this time, right, I'm thinking I'm gonna drink. Mind you, I had made all of these promises to my ex fiance or whatever at the time that I was gonna stop drinking. But in my mind, I was like, man, we having a big party when I get home.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Drinks, everything, right? When I get home, I don't know what happened. But the taste, the alcohol was removed from my mouth, right? Didn't drink at all. So I started working out, because I started working out while I was locked up. I started working out really, really, really hard.
Yeah.
And when I get home, alcohol was gone immediately from me. And in February 24th will make 10 years of me being sober. And the best thing that I ever did in life. It changed my entire life from the ground all the way up. It just changed everything. So yeah, that was appreciate it.
So
yeah, that was definitely the time when I decided that it was time for a change.
You say you started working out a lot your last time when you was in there. So did that get you started in wanting to do American Ninja Warrior?
Man, so you have to substitute something. Like if you're an alcoholic or a drug user or whatever it is that you do, whatever it is that you have a problem with, that you're addicted to, you're a sex addict, whatever it is that you're addicted to, you got to substitute it with something else, but try to make the something else positive. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So when I came home, I continued to work out, and my initial thought in my head was to be a personal trainer. So I started researching on, getting my licenses to be a personal trainer and all of that. And I started training a couple of people, making a few dollars here and there. I was fortunate enough through the food bank to have gotten some certificates in my safe serve certificate and everything. So I was able to get a job instantly. So I started working. I was actually got a job before I left at a soul food restaurant. And I was able to actually come back to that job when I left. But I started doing personal training, and I had seen Ninja Warrior on TV. And you know how people are, we all big and bad. And me, I'm determined. I've always been determined. And I was like, yo, I think I can do that.
Just like I was in your backyard, I'm like, man, it's easy. It's not sweet. It's not sweet.
Not sweet, right?
Sweet.
So me coming from an athletic background, I was real good in athletics when I was younger. Basketball, football were my two main sports growing up. I stopped playing when I got to high school because, of course, I started selling drugs. So me coming into this now, and I'm like, man, I think I can do that. So I said, let me start doing some research, because I always try to start doing my research on something that I really want to do. I started researching, and I was like, Ninja Warrior gyms in my area. Nothing at all. It was this place called Rebounders. It was a bounce house for kids. They had a little ninja course in there. I was like, yo, I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna try this course. And it was in Newport News, a few miles away from my house. So it was like, I'm gonna try this, and if I can do this, I'm gonna train and go on the show. Man, I went to Rebounders. I breezed through the course. It was nothing. I mean, I could get better, but it was nothing. You know what I'm saying? I had already been working out hard, so my upper body was crazy. I was like, I'm training for the show. Next thing you know, I started training. Matter of fact, I researched ninja gyms. nothing here. At this time, I ain't had no driver's license, no nothing. This how determined I was.
Yeah.
There was nothing here in Virginia. The closest thing, well, it was something in Virginia, but it was in Richmond. Richmond is 100 miles away from me.
Not making that every day.
Nah, not making it every day. But at the time, now I'm working at a place, Vietnamese restaurant called Pho 79.
Yeah.
Really good
And
people.
this is right after the food bank.
Well, this was this was after me coming home from jail, working the soul food restaurant.
Okay.
That didn't pan out too well because I wasn't getting the hours. My cousin seen that we were him and his wife had went to the Vietnamese restaurant singing they were hiring.
Yeah.
And I went interview right on the spot, and I was in there. You give me the interview, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So when I started working there, I got in my head, I want to do this Ninja Warrior thing. I came up with my ninja name, the 249 Ninja, which is the address. 249 is the address of the community center in Phoebus in Hampton, Phoebus, Virginia, where we all grew up at, where all of my friends from the same area we played. And so we call it 249. It's the focal point of my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Right. So I said, man, and it was always something bad back in the day. It was a game. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do something positive because now I'm on my positive mindset. So I took the 249 Ninja and made it my ninja name, 249 Ninja, right? So I came up with my ninja name. I said, all right, well, now I'm going to start training. I got to find me a gym. Found a gym in Richmond, Virginia. Travel. I didn't have a driver's license at the time. I was so determined. And shout out to my old boss at Pho 79, Ty Home. This man paid for me to travel. He gave me per diem so I could stay up there over the weekend, eat food, the whole nine, right?
For real.
And bro, I was taking Ubers. This was when Uber kind of first started. I was taking Ubers to getting up there, catching rides, giving gas. I caught the daggone the mega bus one time. Yeah. I was training hard to get on Ninja Warrior, and that's how I started my Ninja Warrior journey.
Yeah, most definitely. And I know eventually you didn't make it on the show, but what do you think you learned from the whole experience of working out, making the video, and everything like that?
I didn't make it on the show, but and that is not over. I mean, I can still try to get on the show if I want. Yeah. I just been taking a hiatus because of my elbow right now. But anyway, I traveled around the United States doing different side competitions because there's other leagues outside of the show. They're just not televised, but it's other leagues. The guys from the show all compete. And I got better and better and better, each time that I did it, traveling around the United States doing that. And I just learned, what I took from that was the fellowship that I got and the support of that community towards, their fellow Ninja Warriors. And it just made me a stronger person, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It just made me a stronger person.
Yeah. I know you said you were cool with your boss at the Pho place. He was funding you doing your ninja journey and everything. But what made you want to take the leap into entrepreneurship and start your own business, Savor of Elegance?
So if I feel like I'm not growing, it doesn't matter how cool we are or whatever, but I have to be growing within your business. When I got to Pho, he made these promises. The promises were kept. You're going to be able to, I asked him, was I going to be able to grow? Am I going to be able to get raises? Am I going to be able to grow within the company? And all of those promises were kept. Nothing happened between us. It was just, I got to a point where I wasn't going to be, I was second in the kitchen at this point, but I wasn't never going to be first because it was Mama. Mama ran the kitchen. She was a Vietnamese lady and she ran the kitchen. It was her kitchen. So in tradition, like they weren't going to put me in front of her. I'm a black guy working in a Vietnamese place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Place, yeah.
So, what's crazy is I sat down and I analyzed my entire life. I analyzed everything, and it's crazy when you sit down and you write out your resume. I'm going over stuff. At this point, I had been home for about four for about 5 years, maybe. Yeah, look, maybe 5 years or so. Well, actually, it probably was about four. So when you sit down and you write everything down, all your accomplishments for your resume and everything, it gives you a visual, but it's on paper.
Yeah.
So I write everything on paper. Yeah, I'm valuable.
Yeah. Like I'm out here.
I'm like, yo, I did all of this. I couldn't believe it.
Either make you be like, dang, I need to get out the crib more, or make you be like, man, I can do anything. Yeah.
So I was like, I put my resume in and on Indeed.
Yeah.
Man, do you know the hits start coming in?
Yeah.
And it wasn't that I didn't like Pho anymore. I loved him. You know what I'm saying? I still rock with him to this day. Me and the old boss ain't been with him in about 4 years, and we still hang out. You know.
Yeah.
But when I put that resume in and everybody started hitting me from Indeed, cheese from ear to ear, all I can think of was I am like MVP, right? So I get a few hits and I get hit by the Virginia Beach Convention Center at this place called Center Plate. They were hiring for the sous chef, right? Mm-hmm. And it's in Virginia Beach, is at the convention center, big old, all they do, they cater for big events. So they didn't hire me for the sous chef, but they did hire me for, she went with somebody else for the sous chef, which she later on regretted that she didn't hire me for, but she made me the production chef, which is right up under the sous chef. So 3 days later, the COVID hit. This was 2020. Yeah. 3 days later, everything shut down. Of course, we all thought it was a game at the time, but it won't. Yeah. So everything shut down. And so we came home. I came home and we did one big event. And then we came home and they were building a sportsplex across the street from the Virginia Beach Convention Center. So we were working in there as well. Yeah. Never closed down during COVID. I know I'm probably putting them out there, but it don't matter now. It's never closed down during COVID, right? So they brought all of management back so we could get some hours and brought us back and had us working over there. Of course, the numbers were low, but still never closed down. So I'm learning the catering business. I'm looking on the board they call BEOs. I'm seeing how many people they serving, how much, what we serving, and how much money they making. And it's just me and probably about 3 other people serving 250, 300 people. Yeah. We making all of this food. Yeah. And I'm like, yo. So we went home. I started doing private dinners because I was doing I had got a call from a guy that was on his YouTube channel one time. And one of his people on his channels hit me up because I was cooking on the channel or whatever. Mm-hmm. And one of his people from the channel hit me up, said, hey, man, you know, everybody at that time, everybody was doing, you know, the at-home stuff because they weren't trying to go out on the street. Yeah. So caterers and private chefs really blew up in the beginning of COVID. Yeah. So he called me and I went over to his house, a nice big house, and he cooked for him and his wife for their 19th anniversary. And he paid me, and I was like, later on, he gave me a call. He said, man, hey, he said, you mind if I, you know, talk to you and give you constructive criticism? I said, sure. You know, anything to make me better. So he told me what he thought, and he said that he think that I could do this and take it to the next level. That right there gave me the courage to say, hey, I want to start this business right here. Yeah. Took me a while to come up with this name, but it was a name for anybody trying to start business. Your name means a lot. You can't just throw a name out there. I sat down and I wrote down names of businesses, and I came back to my friends and peers and at least 10 people, and I said, hey, what do you think about this? Choose from these names. And this is how I came up with this name. And I stand on it and I live by this name. Yeah. Because it's not just the name, you know, Savor of Elegance. When you get me, you're going to save all of this elegance that I'm going to throw your way. Yeah. You know, you're going to save this in your mind, and you're going to say, hey, we need to hire Savor of Elegance. And I'm going to turn him on to everybody I know
Yeah.
because this was awesome.
Yeah.
So that right there gave me the confidence that guy, and I went.
And see, the thing is with that constructive criticism, somebody could have took that and be like, "Man, you hate, man. Like, I don't even. Well, why are you telling us? I don't want to hear that." But you took it as him actually pouring into you and wanting you to do more than what you was doing at that moment.
Yeah, the guy was a good dude, and he definitely pointed me in the right direction as far as he ain't pointing me in the right direction, but he gave me that extra boost. I'm already confident. I've been confident since I stepped out the womb.
Yeah.
But he gave me that boost that say, yo, you can do this. So after that, I went and took all of the proper steps to get my business on paper, insurance, licensings, the whole nine. So after that, I started catering, started putting myself out there. I'm getting jobs here and there now. I'm still working at the Virginia Beach Convention Center.
Yeah.
It's not working out.
Uh-huh.
I went to my boss. I said, hey, I need to be off this weekend. I got a job. She's like, I'm catering. And she the head chef. She like, I cater too on the side and blah, blah, blah. But hers was kind of like small scale. She even showed me how much she was charging. I was like, for all them people?
Yeah.
You're tripping.
Service.
So she like, I'm catering. You got to burn the candle at both ends.
Mm.
So I'm looking at her like, okay, I'm gonna see how long I can do this now because y'all done already gave me the game. I done seen the DOs on the board. So now I got one foot in the door and one foot out, and they knew it too, right? So boom, next thing you know, I'm getting all of these events. People referring me. Boom, I'm getting nice events. I'm starting to get events with the city and everything, right? Mm-hmm. So I remember one night, right? Now, mind you, they started me out at $19 an hour. I'm like, when COVID hit, the guy that she hired as the sous chef, he quit.
Yeah.
Right? So she want to bring me.
The one that she hired over.
Yeah, over me. So he quit. So I'm doing sous chef work now, but I ain't getting paid sous chef money, right? Yeah. So I'm still, I'm making $19 an hour, and I thought that was cool. I thought it was until I started doing my own catering.
You like.
So one day, right, and this is when I was really cheap, folks. I'm not this cheap anymore. You want cheap, you can go hire somebody else. Yeah. Go the other way. But yeah, I'm not this cheap anymore. Of course, when I first started, I got to get my customers rolling and everything. So boom. Yeah. So anyway, I think I did an event. It was like 15 people, like maybe like 10 to 15 people. And the event paid $700. That's how much I charged for the event. And it was a drop-off. Mm-hmm. Right? Took me 4 hours to cook this food. I had to be to work that night for another 6 hours at $19 an hour. Yeah.
That told you everything you needed right
there. Yeah, that told me everything I needed to know right there. So the next day, I said, I'm going to talk to my son's mother, see how she felt if I, went ahead and stepped out on faith. Yeah. And I talked to her. She said, gave me the go ahead. So I typed up my letter of resignation. That day, the next day, I typed up my letter of resignation. And as I'm pressing the send button, to send it to my boss, because it was to take effective immediately, not 2 weeks, but immediately. Immediately. Yeah. So as I'm pressing the send button, she calling my phone. Hey, Delvin. Yeah, you come to work. You on the schedule this weekend. I said, you ain't you didn't get my email, did you? Yeah. She was like, nah. I was like, I sent you an email. It's my letter of resignation. She said, I seen it coming. Mm-hmm. She said, she wished me well and stuff, and that was the rest history after that. Literally. The rest history.
Yeah, most definitely. You mentioned your son, Lil Dale. How did bringing him into this world change your perspective on everything? Because I know it changed the way you think about life in general.
It made me an unselfish person. I always used to think it was all about me. Yeah. And having you people don't know until you have a kid. Like before when I didn't have a kid, I ain't understand. You know what I'm saying? I ain't understand nobody else's time and that they couldn't be available at this time or whatever, right? When I had a kid, that it just changed my whole perspective on life, and that I am responsible for another little person at all times. I cannot fumble because I can't drop the ball. This man is looking at me, this little man is looking at me, and I'm his example. Yeah. Like I said before earlier, I had my dad there the whole time, my entire life. Was it all peaches and cream between him and my mom? No, it wasn't. But he ain't go nowhere. He was there the entire time in life that I've had my dad. So I knew that once I became a father that I was going to be a great dad. So, that changed my life, and I wanted to pour everything I had into him. And the things that I didn't get in life, my kid ain't gonna never have to wear no hand-me-downs. Yeah. And not saying that, if I had to, if we had to, my parents did the best with what they had. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And if he had to wear hand-me-downs, that's what it is. But I'm putting him in a position where he's gonna have stuff that I never in life had before. He's gonna have Savor of Elegance. When I die and leave this earth, this business is still gonna be running, and it's gonna be his.
So, yeah. And shout out to little Floyd in the making.
Yeah, he boxed too. So yeah, he just got into boxing a few months ago, and he's very, very good, and he's 5 years old. So I'm starting him out early, and he got an eye. He got hand and eye coordination crazy. So he's got a trainer and everything.
Most definitely. But to get back to Savor of Elegance, how is everything going right now? And how do you vision the next couple of years it's gonna go?
So August 24th made 3 years of me being in business.
Yeah.
Right. And man, every year it elevates from here to up here.
Yeah.
Not from here to here, but up here. Business is astronomical. I could not wish for anything better. Life has been great. And again, I attributed it all to me not drinking anymore, for me putting down alcohol, and I give that back to the universe, because what you put out to the universe, I'm a firm believer in what you put out to the universe, it gives back to you. And every since I've been putting nothing but good into the universe, I don't have to worry about no money no more. I ain't got to worry about going back to jail. I have to worry about any of that. So my business is just blown up. Like at first I wasn't advertising. Then I was with a girl, and she had her own boutique, and she posted so many pictures daily. And my business was doing great, but she said your business can go to the next level.
Yeah, so you had some free marketing. Post. Yeah, huh? You had that free marketing.
Oh, free marketing. People don't know about this social media. Well, they do know about social media, but a lot of people use social media for the wrong things.
Yeah, for their friends and
they're just to be social. I'm not trying to just be social on social media. I use it for every avenue. Anything that I'm trying to do is social media.
Yeah.
So, once I got into the phase of, like I said, she was posting daily and posting some of the same pictures over again. And I'm telling her, I don't have time. You do it. She's like, I'm not doing it for you. I got my own business.
Yeah.
So I got into the habit of posting. Next thing you know, I'm starting to like it. Yeah. And I'm posting. And people are seeing my events. They're seeing, I even hired a freaking photographer, a videographer to do my events, put them together. She video, put them together. I post them. People seeing them. It's looking great. Next thing you know, I'm getting calls out of the woodworks from people I don't even know.
Yeah.
Word of mouth travels fast. Either it's gonna be good or it's gonna be bad, but it's gonna travel
fast.
So yeah, the business has grown tremendously. I'm to the point now where I'm not doing as much advertising as I was before, because the calls are pouring in. I even had to hire a personal assistant.
Great problems
to have, man.
Great problems
to have. Yeah. So yeah, I'm in business. I've been in business for a little bit over 3 years now, and best decision I ever made in life. And I will say, entrepreneurship is hard. It's tough. Yeah. It's tough out here, especially when you first getting started, because you have to do everything yourself. Okay. But I'm at a point now where I'm able to employ people to help me with the catering side as well as the administrative side.
Yeah.
And it's getting easier. It does get easier as it go along, but entrepreneurship is definitely not easy from the beginning.
Yeah.
And what I tell people all the time is that it's it pays off.
Yeah.
You know, I won't take it back for nothing. All of this hard work that you're out here putting in, and it takes up, just like I have a friend always tell me that it takes up different type of people to make the world go round.
Mm-hmm.
All different types of people. So some people are made to be workers,
Yeah.
and some are just made to be a boss. I ain't never been cut out to be no worker, ever. I ain't never been cut out to be no worker for nobody else. I always been cut out to be a boss.
Yeah.
So,
but some people are just dedicated soldiers. So
yeah,
they can ride for somebody forever. So shout out to them.
I'm the captain on the ship.
Off top.
So, yeah, where I see Savor of Elegance going.
Yeah.
In the future, I want to be on the island pressing buttons. I want to work. Yeah. I want to vacation like I work now. Right now, I work every weekend. I don't turn down nothing but my collar. If I got two events in the same, if I got one event already lined up, I got somebody else hitting me for that another event on the same day.
Yeah.
I'm not turning that down. Even especially if it's lined up in December or in January or something, we'll figure that out when we get there. Yeah. But I promise you, I've done 2 events in the same day, and we done made it happen.
Yeah.
So I want a vacation. I want to be able to vacation like I work.
Yeah.
Right now.
And as we was talking about earlier, I told you some advice I got from somebody. He told me, your main goal should be to fire yourself from every position but CEO, so you're working on the business and not in the business. So as a chef, I would say from the outside looking in, the hardest part would be hiring other chefs to replicate your work and stand on your name. So how do you say you would go about hiring other people to represent Savor of Elegance?
Well, first and foremost, right now, whether you're a server, a chef, you in my administrative department, or if you my videographer, to be able to work with me, because I'm not hiring, I contract out. So I'm not hiring people under my name. You're under your own name. Mm-hmm. You know, you're under your own name, but yes, you do represent Savor of Elegance. But in order for us to even work together, we have to vibe. Yeah. You know, I have to feel that vibration from you, because I go off of vibes. That's how I live my life. I have to be able to feel that vibration from you, and we have to think alike. Great minds think alike. And if we don't think alike, and I see your work and your work is mediocre, then we ain't vibing off top. You know, we won't be able to work together off top. And there's nothing to you to think that I'm better than you or not. But again, it's just the alignment in life, you know, with people, aligning with the right people in life. Yeah. So, you know, as far as hiring somebody, you know, to work, you know, under me or be contracted out under me, we got to be on the same page. You got to, when I look on your page, I need to be like, wow. Like when you look on my page, you be like, wow. You know? Yeah. But when I look on your page, you got to be like,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah. And one of the services you offer through Savor of Elegance is watermelon carving. You actually had one at me and my boys' graduation party. How you get into doing that? Because you told me you do those freehand, you know?
Yeah, so, man, it's crazy because I had started doing 1 year. I started carving watermelons for Mother's Day. Yeah. And it was fruit bowls. I would carve out the inside of like a pineapple, fill it back up with fruit, strawberries on top and stuff like that. Carve out the inside of a watermelon, fill it up with fruit, you know, and strawberries and stuff on top. At the time, I'm carving all the way through the watermelon on the outside, and I'm using these different tools, and I'm not getting a clean cut on it. So I'm like, yo. And at this time, I wasn't carving faces. I wasn't carving portraits in them. Now, to rewind, I've always been an artist. Yeah. You know, art was not my first passion, but anything, I'm a perfectionist. So, you know, one of my slogans is the taste of a perfectionist. So even throughout life, I'm a perfectionist at everything I do. I try to perfect everything. Mm-hmm. So when I started doing the watermelons, I'm like, yo, I'm like, I seen these carvings of faces on watermelon online, and I haven't seen a lot of them, but I seen a few of them. Like, how they do this? So somebody at the time was telling me, oh, my girlfriend's daughter at the time was telling me, you need to go get these tools from Michael's, and they'll help you carve better. So I go get the tools from Michael, right? Now I get real excited once I get some new tools or new ideas, anything, right? So I'm in Michael's and I'm on YouTube, and now I'm trying to figure out. I'm like, yo, I got the tools. So I'm like, how you carve faces? You know, if you put anything in YouTube, it comes up.
YouTube University.
I sat there and watched this lady. She ain't even speak English, no English at all. And I just was sitting there watching her carve Michael Jackson face into a watermelon. I instantly went home, pulled up a picture of myself. Matter of fact, I stopped by the store, got a watermelon, pulled up a picture, and right then and there, I knew I had something. And for Mother's Day, I did like 50 fruit bowls that year, but I hadn't started carving faces on that. After that, once I started carving faces and I posted it and I put it out there, that joint blew up, and Mr. Melon Man was born.
Mr. Melon Man Customs.
Mr. Melon Man Customs was born, which is a separate business, but still a part of Savor of Elegance. So yeah. And that was just yo. I'm still amazed at how, and now I didn't add it bling to them. I didn't add it paint. I'm painting on the watermelons now. It went to a whole nother level, you know. And I'm still amazed at how I'm able to carve the face.
Freehand, by the way.
Freehand. In the watermelon. I'm still amazed at that. And I get I get a lot of them. And they're not cheap. Like I told you before, ain't nothing with Savor of Elegance is cheap. We start out in the summertime, they 125 because the watermelons are plentiful. But you know, it's extra for the bling, extra for the paint. Wintertime, we starting out 150, baby.
Prices going up.
Prices going up every season.
On top. I know it gotta feel, I'm not gonna say feel crazy, but I know it feels like a different type of feeling to have all this going on from where you started. And now you're going on your 7th year of your annual toy drive in the neighborhood that you grew up in.
Boy. So I took away from the community for so long with me hustling and just being out here wilding in these streets, right?
Yeah.
I decided once I started doing Ninja Warrior, I came up with a clothing brand called the 249 Ninja. I even got a little chain made, you know what I'm saying? So once I started doing Ninja Warrior, I came up with that clothing line and I said, yo, I want to give back to my community. And what is the best way to do it? Give back to the kids in the community, like the people who didn't. I want to do something that they didn't do for us that might have changed the path of my life and many other people's lives that I grew up with, right? So I said the very first year, it was a closet in the back of the community center because I wanted to keep it authentic. I wanted to do it at the center at 249 where I grew up at. So I said, yo, I'm gonna get some pizza. I'm gonna order some pizza. They gave me a little room in the back. I said, I'm gonna do a toy drive. I'm just gonna collect the toys. We're gonna leave them with the center and they can distribute them as is. And I wanted to give out 100 of my apparel. Now, don't nobody know this. I think this is the first time I ever said this, right? But the first year I did the toy drive, it was all kind of staging me to get on Ninja Warrior as well, because I wanted to support. I was so big headed and thinking that I was gonna get on Ninja Warrior,
just off the
muscle, that it was for support as well. So I wanted to get back, but I also wanted support for me to get on Ninja Warrior as well. So I gave out 100 hoodies. I bought them pizza. You know, I gave kids pizza, and we collected toys, right? Wasn't that much that year, you know what I'm saying? And I left the toys there, let him distribute them as needed or whatever. The next year. So the first year I only had about 2 weeks. I thought about it 2 weeks before I actually did it. So, you know, it happened so fast. The next year, it got in the planning mode. The next year I got my guy, shout out to Gabe Diaz. He's my MC. And he works for the city of Hampton. And we put that thing together, man. The next year, man, we gave out over maybe 300 gifts.
Yeah.
It turned into a party. We had a DJ. We had Buffalo Wild Wings come through with their mascot. We had so many donations. We had Marco's Pizza. They came through and donated pizza this year. I ain't even had to pay for it.
Yeah.
It was a big party in the gym. We moved to the gym now. It was probably about 200-300 people, right? So the next year after that, or that summer, that was the second year. So that summer, going back to school, all right, now I'm established in it. So we gonna do this every year. So I did a talent show. First place, I gave out a cash prize of $500. Second place, $250. Third place, $150. So everybody that won the talent show, I brought them back that Christmas for to perform at the toy drive. Toy drive grew some more. Astronomical numbers. We inside of the center, it's busting out the seams now. Now every year I'm giving out, my apparel as well to the first 100 people that come. So this year, like, man, it was a line and it's busting out the seams. I already see. We gonna have to change the location because it ain't happening.
Gotta get a bigger venue.
Yeah, we need a bigger venue now. So many partners had came on and partnered up with me. At this point, it's like, okay, I see it. I see the vision now. It didn't came. I didn't think it was gonna be this big. I'm just trying to do a little something for my community. The next year, COVID happened.
Stop everything, man. Like,
stop everything. That year, we still had the toy drive, but guess what? We switched it because this was year 4. It switched to Phoebus High School, my high school I graduated from. But this year it got to be outside, so it's a drive-through. Still the same effect. We had a line of people. We had people go online, sign up. How many kids? The line, it was a drive-through. We had the mayor. I mean, we just had a lot of people, city officials out there. We gave out probably, I don't know, maybe about 500 or 600 gifts this year. Something like that. They rolled through. Now, mind you, at this time now, we done got Purdue Chicken on board. They giving out chicken, the whole chickens. We got the food bank on board. They giving out perishables, non-perishable food, dairy, veggie, the whole. Now they come get a whole bag of food from us, right? We giving out hygiene. Now it's way bigger than just the toys, right? But we still giving the toys out and everything. And we had the Feel Good crew. Shout out to the Feel Good crew. They was on the grill that year, feeding the staff. We have a whole bunch of volunteer staffs and everything. Of course, we got the DJ. We still outside rocking. That's year number 4. Year number 5. Still can't go back inside yet. We outside again this year. This year, the guy from Nick's Butcher, what's the name of it? It's Nick's. I forgot. It's Nick's something. Anyway, he's on board. He come through with a whole truck full of chicken. Chicken packs and stuff, right? Oh, my bad. That was last year. That was last year. Year before that, same thing. Food, whatever, everything, same thing. It went down again. And it went the drive-through again. So DJ, same thing. It grew again. More people, everything. So this year we probably gave out about 600-700 gifts. Now that year we got Amy. Amy runs a nonprofit organization. She has an undisclosed warehouse. She don't want me to disclose where the warehouse is, but it's an undisclosed location. But man, she donated like a like if you can imagine a dumpster full of toys, like one of the dumpsters that the truck come pick up with the arm and throw it back like that. That's what she donated. Right? So boom. Year number 6 come around. This year, and that was the year you and your mom came last year. Last year, number 6. So you already know how it went down. For the people, it was your first year being involved, and you and your mom wanted to get involved because y'all wanted to know what all of the hype was about, and you wanted to help out. So coming from where you came from, and coming to see your uncle putting together something like this. What did you think?
It was wild because on one side y'all had the toys and toys for different age groups. So it went from like 3 to 5 to 8 to 12 to high school. And on the other side, you have food, gift bags full of food, pizza, water, everything. And I saw a lot of those kids in there just feel like happy and they didn't feel like they were going without anything. And it was crazy because
don't forget, not to cut you off, but don't forget they had the bounce house. We had face painting. We had the DJ again. It was just a huge party. We had a hula hoop girl there teaching hula hoop. Yeah. It was just huge. It was huge.
Yeah. And then to see at the tour job, all those people there because of something you created was wild.
Yeah, that was it. It makes me feel good. Yeah. And so this year, we back inside. Hopefully we're at Phoebus High School again. We're gonna be somewhere. I knew that. Yeah. And it's getting bigger, it's bigger. I have a donor already who's donated already. Shout out to Stephen Foster. Him and his foundation. And I'm sorry, Steve, I can't remember the exact name of your foundation right now, but he's a good dude. And he's donated $2,500 already. Dang. So everybody's getting a hoodie this year. You know, I'm taking his donation and I've already purchased the hoodies. We're gonna do like every year, we're gonna print 249 Ninja and Friends Toys Drive on the front, and on the back is gonna be all of the sponsors this year. So as anticipated, you know, last year we gave out close to maybe about 1,000, if not more, gifts. There. Like I said, we had the toy drive, we had the face paint, the bounce house, hula hoop, popcorn machine. Man, it was
coming in and out.
It was just ongoing stuff, man. It was just ongoing stuff. And to be quite honest with you, like after I think, you know, my business is blowing up and growing and growing and growing. Don't nobody notice, but I was about to pass it off. I was gonna pass the torch. Sure. And I talked to one person who I was gonna pass the torch to, good friend of mine. And I thought about it, you know. And eventually I am gonna pass the torch. You know, my business is growing and growing and growing. And you know, I'm focusing on my kid and you know, he's growing, you know. So eventually I am gonna pass the torch. And I may pass it 10 years, you know, who knows? When I get to 10, I may not pass it then. Who knows? Yeah. But when it came time for me to pass the torch, I said I can't. Like, I'm too invested in this. I love, like, my Christmas gift is just seeing the smiles on the kids' faces. Yeah. When they, you know, when some of these kids who may not get nothing for Christmas come and it's a big old party and they get gifts and, you know, they go home. If they ain't happy tomorrow, you know, I made them smile tonight. Or that day or whatever, you know, and that's the part that I love the most about that tour drive. It's just giving back to the community and seeing everybody come together.
Yeah. And to speak on those kids, what is one piece of advice that you would give to somebody that was in the same situation you were in when you were younger, in the streets and everything, that doesn't necessarily see a way out or doesn't want to get out?
People's telling me the same stuff. You know, my mom, dad, brothers, all of them told me the same stuff, man. You know, everybody tried to get me to stop doing what I was doing. I ain't stopped doing what I was doing until I was ready to stop doing what I was doing. Yeah. I can preach to you all day long, but until you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, it's going to be on you, you know, to stop that. But the advice that I will give to someone who's been through what I've been through as far as getting in trouble and all of that, because I hear a lot of, oh, I got felonies, or, you know, my background. I got 5 or 6 felonies. I don't even know. I got so many. I don't even know how many it is. I don't care. You know, I don't care because it never held me back from what I wanted to do. You know, if I ain't work, it's because I didn't want to work. You know what I'm saying? Not because I couldn't get a job. You know, and if you do got that many felonies, focus on it. Most of us that got felonies were bosses in the first place. Yeah, you know, so you're an entrepreneur from the get-go.
First off, doing your thing, but then you
Yeah,
got to worry about people on your back. That's the extra part.
yeah.
So
So you gotta focus on doing your entrepreneurship thing,
yeah,
and don't let one no stop you from the 10 yeses that you could get from that one no.
yeah.
So, keep it pushing. It's easier said than done. But again, when you see somebody sitting here who's telling you they got 5 or 6 felonies and don't care what you think about me, I'm a living example. You know what I'm saying? I'm living proof that you can do it. That it can be done with a background and everything.
Yeah. What inspires you?
What inspires me? My inspiration comes from people around me. Like you for one, my nephew. Like I'm really, really, really proud of you and what you're accomplishing right now. I was talking to somebody about you the other day, and I was bragging on you because you run 2 businesses. You just started up this podcast. You got your own business. You travel like bro, you travel like no other, and you go to school full time. Somebody need to do an interview on you. I don't know how you do it, but that inspires me. People like you, people like me. I continuously inspire myself by just continuing to level up. For me, it's not even about money anymore. It's more so of the level up. Because the money follow when you're leveling up and you're doing what you're supposed to do. So I'm inspired by the world. I'm inspired by seeing other people do well and and um and just starting their own business and just being successful. That's what inspires me. And I love to tell my story because people out here need to hear somebody who's been through the ringer and is successful.
Yeah.
These stories don't come that often. Yeah. So anytime that I can give back,
And you can make any excuse in the world, and you did it. Like you could make any excuse. Oh, they ain't messing with me. Oh, I can't do this. I can't. Do this.
And I'm the wrong person to talk to because I've been through all of that. You know what I mean? So,
even you get in the arguments with people because they want to make excuses, but
I'm not arguing with nobody. I walk off like I'm giving you the blueprint. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But I'm just thankful to have you, in my life, and to be able for you to be able to inspire me and inspire others as well. Yeah. I'm feeling this podcast and I know it's gonna grow. Yeah. And thank you for having me on, man. I love it.
Like too. All right, appreciate you.